Is it wrong for Christians to get tattoos? Should we support friends and family members who want to get them? That's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Dad?
This is a great question because some people think that it's a really bad pagan practice that Christians should not partake in. Others simply call it body art that honors an important person in their life.
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends with tattoos, and to be honest, I think they're kind of cool. And I don't have any tattoos. I think a big part of that is because I realize that I'm 22, and I realize that when I'm 80, what might seem cool now might not be as cool later.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have like a big, some weird something on my neck.
Yeah.
When I'm 80.
That's right. It'll be pretty saggy and shriveled up by then anyway.
Yeah, the lines might not be as straight.
Not really.
But yeah, I think tattoos in general are pretty cool. I sent you and I sent Jack a tattoo that I actually am thinking about getting, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get it yet.
Oh, don't show this to your mother.
It's pretty cool. So we'll put it on the screen, but it's, I think, 4 fly fishing flies that are on your forearm. So when you're holding the trout, you got all the flies and the trout in your hand. And I think it'd be pretty cool. You
know, they're beautiful. You gotta admit, they're just beautifully done. I mean, the tattoos today are not like the ones that you see from your grandpa from World War II. You know, where they're sort of like, they're etched.
Stick and poke, yeah.
Yeah, stick and poke etched in, and you sort of like empty out like an ink pen into your arm with a knife. These are actual works of art. So why do some people have a problem with tattoos?
There's one main argument, which is speaking to not tattooing yourself, and it's from Moses, and it's in the Old Covenant, and he says, in Leviticus 19:28, you shall not make any cuts on your body for the dead or tattoo yourselves. I am Lord. And this is at a time where the pagan nations would actually tattoo themselves in forms of idol worship. So they would tattoo themselves for the dead, or they would cut their bodies. And Moses was saying, don't do what they are doing. Be separated from them. And in 1 Peter 3:3-4, it says, do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair or putting on of gold jewelry, or the clothing that you wear, but let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious.
Exactly.
So essentially what it's saying in that passage is don't let the gold that you're wearing, the clothes that you're wearing, or the tattoos that you have be the main thing of value that you are.
Yeah.
Essentially, let the beauty and all of the pretty things be coming from within. And your character and who you are before Christ, and be minimal on the outside.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, James, I mean, you're practicing what you preach. I mean, clearly, looks are not important to you. It's all about character on the inside.
For sure.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm totally down with that, except that it doesn't seem like a slam dunk argument against any kind of outward adornment, because every morning we get up, we look in the mirror, we brush our hair, we brush our teeth. That's outward adornment. I want to put on a nice shirt. I don't want to embarrass mom in public. I want to look good, at least as good as I can. And so is Paul saying we shouldn't do that? And what's wrong, by the way, if I've got a tattoo as part of what I want people to see, especially if it's a good tattoo? I mean, is there such a thing?
Yeah, well, I think that's one aspect of kind of something that's changed from back then to today, is that tattoos were primarily used for like idol worship and pagan rituals. But in today, you can get a tattoo with the date that you were married to your wife, or a sentimental tattoo of, like, say you lost a child or something. And you can have that tattoo as a remembrance piece of them that you get to remember by looking at your arm or your hand or wherever it is. So I think kind of the reason for tattoos has changed, but does that make tattoos good? And personally, I would say it depends on your reason for getting a tattoo. If you're not okay with yourself, the way that God designed you, kind of a blank canvas of just skin, and you need tattoos to feel good about yourself, there's a deeper issue that's going on with your sense of value in God and your desire to be approved or admired by other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I remember a friend of ours once said, he's like, it fascinates me why getting a brand new shirt makes you feel good, or getting a new haircut. You get a brand new haircut and you're just like, I just feel good. I feel fresh. I feel like I just, I'm looking good today. And sometimes that can change your whole outlook about yourself and how you esteem and value yourself based on something that's outwardly adorning you. And, a lot of times girls will go out of the house and saying, well, I can't leave without putting my face on, right? With the makeup or accessorizing with earrings and bracelets, making sure that my shoes match my purse in color. How much of that stuff actually cripples us and handicaps us, because what we really ought to feel totally secure in is who we are and our value because of our relationship with God.
Yeah, I have a couple friends who have told me why they have tattoos. And these guys are like sleeves, leg sleeve, arm sleeve, chest piece.
Full eagle span of wings across their back.
Yeah, one of them even has the word ice, I-C-E, written on his wrist.
Really?
Because he's got ice on his wrist.
I get it. Ice bling.
But he actually said that part of the reason that he did it is so that he could better relate to people and have conversation starters with people who aren't believers who have tattoos.
That's a likely story. He just likes the tattoos.
Well, that was part of his reason for saying it.
Yeah.
And I think that you could totally justify it in that way.
Yeah.
You see a guy with tattoos, you probably think he's not like a buttoned up Christian boy who's like
some
judging
holier
you.
than thou legalist.
He's kind of relatable. Mm-hmm. But I was reading an article by John Piper where he was talking about tattoos and kind of how some people say it's a way to relate to other people, almost a form of missionary work. And he said, yes, it can be for certain groups of people, but what if you go to like a Muslim culture where tattoos are not permissible? Mm-hmm. Then it becomes a hindrance to your ability
to share the gospel
with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Boy, I didn't think about that. Can't take it back now. You got the tattoo.
Yeah.
It's permanent.
Exactly. And that comes into the other aspect, that this is a permanent thing on your body forever. And if you're not in a place to make that lifelong commitment, then you should wait.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people who've gotten the silliest tattoos just because they had a 2-for-1 sale at the tattoo shop. Wait, I got a great tattoo story. I have a good friend, a dear friend. She is just has the biggest heart for people and wants to reach them with the gospel, that she had a gospel tract tattooed on her arm. I mean, literally people say, what's that tattoo? What's it say? She goes, oh, read it. And it's this beautiful tattoo that actually shares the gospel with people, and it's a conversation starter for her. I mean, are we going to say that God is forbidding someone to tattoo the gospel message that might lead to somebody's salvation on their skin? Or is that a really novel way to evangelize? And it's crazy because Christians love to fight over this kind of stuff. There are some who are like, that's brilliant and it's beautiful. And others are like, that is banned by the scriptures, and you need to repent and ask forgiveness for that. Cover it up, wear sleeves. I remember one pastor who'd said that the roots, ancient roots of tattoos really comes back to slavery, and people would mark other people the way that a farmer would brand cattle. They would mark people, and I mean literally, it's like property of this other person, and you can't take that off. So, I don't know. I've also really been intrigued by the detail of some intricate tattoos that have spelled out somebody's life story. And whenever I see someone with a tattoo, I always ask them, tell me about your tattoos. That's a great way to start a conversation with somebody. So if I can start a conversation with a pagan who has tattoos, might that be a great door opener if I were to get tattoos so that a pagan might ask me, dude, tell me about your tats.
Yeah, there was an article by John Piper where he went over 6 reasons why you shouldn't get tattoos.
Why you shouldn't. Okay.
Why you shouldn't. And really most of them aren't biblical reasons, but they're practical reasons on why it's not wise to get tattoos. Number 1 is tattoos focus on external adornment rather than internal adornment. Number 2 is that tattoos are permanent. It's not like a dry erase marker where you can just rub it off.
When you're 15 years old, you might not want to get your boyfriend or girlfriend's name tattooed across your neck because if it doesn't work out, your spouse might not appreciate that adornment.
Yeah. Another one is that he said the body is a temple and you are essentially graffitiing the temple.
Yeah. Well, I hear what he's saying.
Yeah, and you can make the argument that it's good graffiti because it promotes what's good, or it's bad graffiti.
Yeah, some graffiti artists will say that this is artwork. It's not really graffiti. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
And like I said earlier, I think a tattoo might be missionally limiting when sharing the gospel with certain groups of people.
Yeah.
Because they might have preconceptions about who you are.
Yeah.
With them. So those are some of the things that John Piper would kind of warn about with tattoos and definitely say consider the weight of your decision before making that decision. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, like I said, I've got friends who have really cool tattoos that I think it is beautiful artwork. If it were a mural on the side of a building, you'd sit there and stare at it and you'd think, man, that's incredible. It definitely can be a conversation starter. It can even be a gospel tract that somebody might even get saved after reading and having a conversation with that person. But like you, I'm concerned that if I put a tattoo on my body today, will I want that to be there 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I don't think that there's anything inherently evil about ink, extra pigment on my skin. I'm not superstitious about tattoos like that. I don't think that there's any bad power in tattoos, and I don't think that it violates any scriptural principle. Like you said, tattoos used to be associated with things like slavery and pagan practices when people die and identifying themselves in ungodly ways. But when my friend has his daughter's name who passed away and the date of her birth and death, or the anniversary and his wife's name or his mom on his back, he's not honoring pagan deities as part of a death ritual. So, I don't know. Some people have birthmarks. They seem to have been tattooed by God. They came that way with extra pigment. I tend to think tattoos can be fine if they're put on there for the right reason. But like you said, I see many people get one tattoo that turns into 2, turns into 4 to 16. Pretty soon they've got sleeves, and then it becomes their thing. And it becomes who they are, and their identity and their community is all formed around this external thing that is not where we should be focusing our thoughts and our mind. It's on the internal stuff. And if you happen to have a tattoo on the outside, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have any tattoos. I almost got one when I was about 15 years old. I decided to pierce my ear instead. I remember I was in Hawaii and did it with a bunch of friends. My mom, she was about ready to kill me. She didn't talk to me for a couple of days. But I don't think I'm going to get a tattoo. However, it doesn't bother me at all when I see somebody with a tattoo, and I almost always ask them to tell me about them.
And something to take into consideration is that we as men look to the outside of people, and we kind of just from a distance, we want to be able to tell, are you a good Christian? And we kind of judge other people if they have tattoos or they dress a certain way. Mm-hmm. But we know that God actually looks to the inside. He looks to the heart.
Right.
That the outside doesn't matter to him. You can be short, tall, skinny, fat, doesn't matter. God cares about your heart and the beauty of that, not your outwardly looks.
Before I forget, I got to share this really great story. I was walking to my gate at the LAX airport, and I saw this guy. He was just sort of like slouched up against the wall, sitting on the floor with these long dreadlocks. And he just had tattoos all up and down his hands and his arms, all over his face, James. I mean, he was completely covered with teardrops and neck, everything. And he said, "Hey, Kirk, how you doing?" And I was like, "Is that guy talking to me?" Turned out it's Brian Head Welsh from Korn. Bro loves Jesus with all of his heart. And we got talking about his family, his daughter, and how he's praying for her and the big change in his life. I've had a chance to interview him. But if you looked at him, you would swear this guy is, like out of some kind of a Halloween costume. And yet, this was a huge part of his life before he came to Christ, and probably after as well. And people know him because of his tattoos, and he loves Jesus with all of his heart. So it's a really interesting topic.
Another interesting thing about the tattoo debate is modern technology and how you're actually able, from what I've heard, to get tattoos fully removed over time through laser.
Wow.
Laser zapping or whatever.
Yeah, like a laser eraser.
And here's a video of it. Take a look, because this could potentially change the entire game.
Yeah. It's like putting on eyeliner and then just wiping it off. You could put on a tattoo and laser it off.
Yeah, take a look.
Oh, wow. Looks like they're like, wow.
Yeah, they essentially like burn it off.
How do they
of
do
you.
that?
I think they're burning the top layer of skin that the ink is on.
Looks like they're just sandblasting it off of his back. That must hurt. Is he alive? Look at that guy. Right in the tender middles right there in the side. Yikes. Man, that's working great. It's coming off. Yeah, it's starting to turn red too. Look at that. Yeah. That's not feeling good. I'd be taking some Advil before I had that. Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So if tattoos now aren't permanent, what does that mean for people who have tattoos? Is it that big of a decision?
Yeah, right. Not quite as consequential if you can just get them removed. It's probably expensive to get them removed though. And think of all the money that you just sandblasted off of your back.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it takes a bunch of different times for it all to go away, and I think it leaves some scars as well. But it's interesting for the whole debate, are tattoos wrong because of the permanence aspect?
Yeah. Because
now it looks like they might not be so permanent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I agree with you. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with getting a tattoo. It's not a sin. I do think that you should be very thoughtful and weigh the pros and cons of getting a tattoo and realize that this thing will potentially be with you the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And think of if your future wife will like the tattoos. Think of things like that, and have the tattoos actually be something that is honoring to God rather than promoting what is evil and dark.
What if you didn't have to walk through life alone? What if there was a place where men, real men, stood shoulder to shoulder, fought for truth, challenged each other to grow, and lived with honor? That is Red Truck Men. It's not just a group, it's a brotherhood. It's a place to be known, to be sharpened, and to be called higher. In a world that's confused about manhood, Red Truck Men calls us back to God's design: strong, humble, courageous, and faithful. Whether you're a dad, a husband, a young guy searching for purpose, or just a guy who's tired of doing life alone, you belong at Red Truck Men. Because where men of honor link arms and walk together in truth, families and communities are changed and legacies are built. So don't wait. Find your tribe, go to breakfast, step into the fight, visit redtruckmen.com to learn more, and join the brotherhood today. That's redtruckmen.com. To tattoo or not to tattoo? That was the question. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you on Friday. James?
The tattoo is up to you. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when the next episode comes out, and leave us a question in the comment section below so we can read that on a future Monday episode. Have a good day.